Well, summer is almost over. It sure went quick, didn't it? Yep. There's never enough time to do all the nothing you want. Welcome. This is Mr. Fisher's Flips third grade. Hopefully I get it right on the third try. Um, as we get started, I wanted to make you aware that please bring water. Have your students bring water. Today we checked the temperature. It's about 86 degrees in the classroom, so I don't want your kids to get dehydrated. Go ahead and bring what you can. Well, to get started with Mr. Fisher's third grade flip, let's get started with the agenda. Hopefully this third time everything will work for us. For today's lesson, we're going to make sure that we understand that Mr. Fisher's on a learning curve, and it'll take a few times before I can be able to get it right. I've got a script in front of me, and even with the script, I know I'm going to make some mistakes and add some extra ums and ands and pauses as I go. So we're also going to go over the math lesson. Class Dojo is a note that went home today. I'll explain what that is and how you can get on. And I'll remind you of the assignment, and I'll give you a quick glimpse of what we're going to be doing next time. So, with this first lesson, you, your parents, we all will be learning. And yes, this first couple lessons will be just this learning curve. And for me, I'm learning that I don't have to have a perfect lesson. So, hope you guys understand what that means. And let's get started with today's lesson. The math lesson today is Math Expressions is our math book, and we will be talking about multiplication and arrays. When we focus on that, we were going to show you how to use multiplication in drawings to represent array situations and the commutative property. When I say commutative property, I want you to think of a mirror, because it helps us understand how we're going to get through one side of the problem to the other. And I'll talk about that later. Okay. Here's all my notes, what I'm supposed to look at. If you notice right here, I'm supposed to give you some checkup sheets, show you how to do arrays, and help you understand the commutative property as a strategy. So, let's start with the lesson today. Today's lesson, we're going to talk about multiplication arrays. And an array is something we used today as we try to figure out some multiplication problems. So let me model it for you. I'm going to give you some hints on how to use it. First of all, let's use some of the tools we have used, like the multiplication table. Oh, we haven't used it. Here's the multiplication table. If you notice, if I want to find 5 times 5, I find 5 up here in the corner, and I go down to 5 on the bottom. So I go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I find out that 5 times 5 is 25. This tool will be found in a couple places, and I'll show you those later in this lesson. Next thing that we will start using is called this math board. And it's really cool. If you look right here, we can count by fives. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 times 2, we got 2 5s right here. 5 times 2 is 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We find out 5 times 6 is 30. And this is a board that we can help count and also help us divide as we get into that. So we'll talk about some of these other things as we get it later in the year with other lessons. Okay. Now for the first part of your assignment. Without counting the dots in the array, write greater than, less than, or equal. I'm going to change the screen for a second so I can use a pen. And if you see this right here, that's the greater than. Then we have the less than, and then, oh, sorry, and then the equal sign. Okay? Ooh, can you see that equal sign? We're going to figure out which one has the most. Now I want you to use some of the strategies we used today. We can count, that's easy, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then we can keep counting, 6, 7, 8. But I want you to realize that this is an array. This box right here, those dots each represent a portion or a number, but we want to be able to count it up fast. And one of the ways we can do that is with this array, we can use multiplication. So let's take, how many rows are there? Oh, let's go with columns first. How many columns are there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There are 5 columns, so I'm going to write 5 using a different marker, and I'm going to put 5 down here. 5 times, and let's check. How many rows do we have? 1, 2, 3. So 5 times 3 rows. Let's make it into a different color. 5 times 3 equals something. And that gives us the number of dots. Well, let's change back and let's find out how many are on this side. If we look, there are 1 row. Oh, let me do columns first. 1 column, 2 columns, 3 columns, 4 columns. And so if we take and change that to 4 columns times 1, 2, 3, 3 rows, we're able to figure out the answer. Times 3. Now I'm going to stop right here because I want you to figure out that problem on your own. And then tomorrow we'll find out if you got the right answer. So this is your first assignment, is to figure out this problem. And remember, you're going to put in this circle right here, you want to be able to show a greater sign, greater than, less than, or equal sign right up there. Okay? So if you would like to pause the video for this point, this would be a good idea to pause and make sure you have this written down in your notebook. Moving on. Now, I think I can show you that we talked about this morning or yesterday. Understand, plan, sorry about that. Understand, plan, solve, and check. That's how we're going to try and use some strategies to help you solve problems. When you see a problem, I don't want you to get scared. I want you to think it through. Use your brain. Understand what it's asking. Plan. Find a way to use one of the strategies. Then solve it. And always, always, always check to see if you've got it right. And usually, like yesterday, we were able to check by using a different strategy. Okay. Zach has a box of crayons. The crayons are arranged in 4 rows, with 6 crayons in each row. How many crayons are in the box? So first of all, we need to understand that the crayons are arranged in 4 rows. That's the first part. Second, there are 6 crayons in each row. So we could count that out, going 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. But we have to make how many rows? 1, 2, 3, 4. that strategy doesn't work. I'm going to get a little more technical. So let's start out with some real crayons. Why not? Okay, help me set this up. If I have how many are in there? Let's count with me. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So in this row we have 6 crayons. Now if we need to, make sure this fits, right? So we got 6 crayons, but how many rows do we have? Well, let's make another row. There's another 6. Let's make another row. How many rows do we need? Okay, 4 rows. Now, I'm going to leave the rest of this answer for you to solve. I helped you understand. I helped you plan it out. We used the cool crayons. Now you have to use one of your strategies to solve the problem. And then check your answer. Okay? This is a good time to pause so you can record the question into your notebook. Now for parents and for you as students, I'd like you to see kind of the outline for the rest of the unit, or for the lesson. This lesson will be taught in class, so most of this will be seen if the smartboard is working. If not, we'll use the book and our imagination. Okay, when we get into class, we need to figure out some of these anytime problems. This one's a really hard one, but this could be a challenge for your lesson tonight. You could pause this and see if you can figure this one out on your own. Can you name 2 whole one-digit numbers that have a sum of 16 and a difference of 1? Why or why not? So that would be something that would be a challenge. You don't have to do this one. This would be a challenge. But we will do it in class. Okay. If you notice, I've got this whole lesson laid out. We went through the introduction. We went through the whiteboard lesson. And that's part of your assignment, remember? Now I'm just going to show you some of the activities. I'm going to go to a quick practice in a second, but here's activity 1, activity 2, and activity 3. And each lesson is built around how we can use the lesson in class. And then we have an assessment. That's usually to let me know what you've learned during the lesson. And there's some digital things that we'll talk about, and hopefully be able to show you how to use those. And of course, the homework is the part that we will be doing in class. So the lesson, let's go back up to here. I told you about the multiplication table. Well, it's going to be found in several different places. Most notably will be in your My School folder. There is right inside a multiplication table. Use it, especially on the bus when you're going home. Practice. Practice. Those 8s are always hard. 8 times 4 is 32. If you can get it in your mind, practice with the multiplication table. Practice with your fingers. Practice in your head. That's the hardest part. Okay, let me show you a quick review, or a quick look at the activities. Activity number 1. Part of the thing that you will be getting is a sheet that will go home, or we will use in class. This sheet you can use with your parents, and you can practice your 2s, your 5s times table. And if you notice, I'll make this a little bit bigger so you can read it. You have count bys, multiplication partner, division partner, and then your parent or the person you're working with can sign off. So that will also be part of your homework, but it's mainly to help you practice on your own. Okay, in activity 2, we're going to talk about arrays. I'm going to pull this out so you guys can see. If you look right here, see those flowers? Look how nice and arranged they are. Those flowers are an array. And the one problem that you're doing for your homework tonight, they were dots. And that's an array with flowers. And we've done arrays with jelly beans, if you recall from yesterday's assignment. So there's activity 2. We're going to talk about arrays. In activity 3, we're going to be talking about the commutative property. I'm going to show you this. Yeah, this one right here. Oh, well, 3 times 5 is the same as 5 times 3. So if you look, 3 times 5, how can that be the same? They both have the same answer. If you look at it, it's like a mirror. If you put up a mirror, you can see the reverse, right? Well, they've reversed this. So you can see that 5 times 3 does equal 3 times 5. That's the basics of being the commutative property. If you use the mirror as your example, use it to the best that you can. The other part of the commutative property is making sure that you can also draw it a couple different ways. You can draw it sideways, or you can draw it vertically or horizontally. Okay, so that gives you an overview of the lesson and what we will be doing in class. And of course, the part where you have to do the homework is going to be done in class. Your assignment, though, will be to do this problem and this problem. And I do expect you to practice your 2's times tables and your 5 times tables. Well, let's go to what I expect from that. One example is you can get on the internet with your parents' permission. I do expect you to use your parents are your best resource. Well, we're going to watch this for a second. I'm going to make it big. But I just found this on the internet, the 2's times tables.
2 times 1 is 2. 2 times 2 is 4. 2 times 3 is 6. 2 times 4 is 8. 2 times 5 is 10. 2 times 6 is 12. 2 times 7 is 14. 2 times 8 is 16. 2 times...
Now if you find another video, say for the 8's times tables, bring it in and you can share it with the rest of our class, and those tunes help us remember a lot faster. And so singing, dancing, those kinds of things help our brain remember and recall, oh yeah, when I was jumping 2 feet times there were 9 of us equals 18. Those kinds of things help your brain remember multiplication and division a lot easier. So if you find some cool tunes, you can share them with me. Another one I found is Skip Counting by 2's, and this one, whoa.
Get up, get down, get up, get down. We're gonna count by 2's, me and you. All the numbers will be even, that is just what we do. We're gonna take both hand numbers will be even, that is just what we do. We're gonna take both hands, we're gonna take both feet. We're gonna clap our hands and stomp our feet to the beat. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10.
You get the idea. So there are some ways to do it. I will post, in fact I did post this song on the website, and you can actually go and look at it. It's right here. For those that need some homework practice, practice your 2 times tables. So that will be on the website. Okay, next thing. Yesterday, I sent home a note about Class Dojo. What is Class Dojo? Well, Class Dojo is the way we're going to help me improve our behavior in class and help you as students improve your own behavior quickly and easily. This gives you a way to capture and generate your behavior. How did I do today? Was I off task? Was I listening all day? And because the smartboard is not working, the projector bulb is burnt out, we can't see this on a daily basis, but I will try to show it to you every day right before we go home so you guys can get an idea of what you are doing. But for those that got their sign up, you can actually go in as a student, use your student pass key that I gave you, and it says right here, I'm new here. You sign up, and there's the code that you will enter. Once you enter the code, it already automatically identifies who you are. For the parents, on the other hand, they can find out, hey, my student is the best in class. Well, some days they are, and some days, just like everybody, we have our on days and our bad days. But parents can go in and say, well, we're planning to go to the zoo, and we want to know if our student has been good this week. And so you can actually use the parent code, which should be on the back side of the paper I sent home with the students. So the student code is on one side, the parent code is on the other. And this is just a fun way for the kids to keep track of it. And for me, I automatically can download these. So let me show you kind of how I get in there. Once I get in, I can show you. Okay, for those who were wondering how I do this, I have everybody in class, and this is from yesterday's. I haven't reset the bubbles, but maybe, for instance, everybody goes out to Mrs. Stewart's music room, and everybody was so good today. They came back and said they earned 10 points. Well, I factored in those 10 points and I give the class a reward, but I also give each individual an award. So they were participating with Mrs. Stewart. And so I give them a positive, or maybe I can give them negative. They were participating, so I'm going to give them all points. Everyone was participating, they get an extra point. And I can also check, hey, right in the middle of math, are you on task? Gracie? Gracie is always on task, right? And she gave a great response just a minute ago, so I'm going to give her a extra point. Now, sometimes, like Weston, he just cannot sit still. Just kidding, Weston. Talking out of turn. Maybe he gets a negative point. Well, oh, so sorry. This is the way I'm able to keep track of their behavior, and I can do it with some of the tools that I'll be using. So, and at the end of the week, we can see how, let's check. Cole, he was 100% on. And that's the range you can actually check to see how you're doing. And you can see, oh, and sometimes I can also put in some comments. And I'll try to use those, especially with the negative points, so you understand what your student is doing during that time. Okay, if we go look back at the beginning of our agenda, check, check. Reminder of the assignment, one more time. You have to do this array, and you have to solve this problem. For those that were looking at the challenge, here's the challenge. And last but not least, next time I will be showing you TRAIN. And TRAIN stands for Teaching Responsibility and Initiative Notebook. We'll be gathering our scores and putting them in this notebook so you can share that with your parents during parent-teacher conferences, and also keep track for yourself. And you want to be able to improve each and every time you take a test. And so this will help us to keep track of that, and I'll talk about that next time. And of course, the next assignment will be probably on tens or nines multiplication, and we'll show you how to also divide. So that's all I have for now, and remember to go to the website fisherflip.blogspot.com, and I will update this lesson 2.5 so it has the updated, new, and hopefully the recording that works. Thank you. Good night.